Okay, so we're gonna take some questions that we asked our viewers from Instagram, and we're gonna start from Mama Randy. She asks, what gives you ideas?
You know, I say what gives me ideas is when I do take a break. Because when we're so at it doing hair all the time, sometimes we forget what's around us. So when I do go on vacation, or like when I went to Cancun or when I went to Asia for the first time, it opened up my eyes because fashion is seen differently in every country. When I was in Indonesia or in Hong Kong or whatever, all they do is like digital perms and things like that. And I was like,
crazy.
They're all
We
about
never do
texture.
those here.
Yeah, I was like digital perm, and I was about to get it done on myself just because. But just everything is so different all around the world. So you can bring that back and see how people receive it here, because I think fashion and style, just seeing it from a different cultural perspective helps you. Also looking back in the past, the 20s, the 30s, the 40s, and 50s, and 80s, I love the 80s, by the way. So it helps you realize how we got to where we are today with fashion, because we see a lot of revisitation lately,
That's true.
So we start to see like a little bit of a crimped hair look from the 80s, a little bit of like finger wave look from the 40s, and the pin-up, so you see a lot of these things.
Heather Scissorhands asks, ooh, this is a good one. What's the worst hair situation you've ever experienced? How did you deal with it?
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm always very open about talking about things, and I think one of the worst situation is I call myself a hair slut. So I try a bunch of different things out there, and and even don't follow instructions sometimes, just because I want to know, why can't I use a 40 volume, or why can't I use a 50, or things like that, just so I know, because it's learn what not to do, so you know what to do. So I tested this specific product, breaking the rules, didn't follow instructions because I want to know why I can't mix it a certain way, that's why it's really important to follow directions, by the way. But I did because I want to know why I couldn't. But of all people I want to test it on, I tested on somebody that's pretty famous and popular. I'm not going to say any names because we don't want to bring that up, but it's somebody who's kind of famous out there, who's out there. So it caused quite a bit of breakage, but good thing she goes, actually I was going to ask you for a haircut anyways. I wanted to cut it up to here. I was like, oh thank God.
Black Dahlia 27 wants to know, what is the best way to get rid of banding and brassiness? I think that's a good question because banding can be a real trouble.
Banding is a color correction scenario. I mean, if it's like natural black and then blonde, I mean, that's something that's very in-depth.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Right.
I guess they could tune into my YouTube channel to see paranormal activity, to see what goes down, because it's a really long story. I mean, I could sit here and talk about color correction for an hour, but
Right.
I think never go too dark. If you're level 6, try not to go to a level 1, 2, or 3. Unless you're really wanting to be level 1, 2, or 3, because that is going to grow.
For a long time.
Yeah, because you're going to have bands. So normally when I work with someone who's at that level, the darkest I would take them is 1 level lighter. Like if it's a 6, and then they've been a level 9 for a long time, maybe I'll put some level 7 low lights in, or something like that. And if they really want to go dark, I'll just do a 6,
Right. Okay, we're almost there. Shang Mi Shirley Moi wants to know, what advice would you give for the struggling artist out there?
Don't be afraid to put yourself out there, really. I mean, there's so many, avenues. There's Yelp, things like that, where you can give your clients rewards. That's what I do when I was building my clientele. When I moved to LA, I had 0 clients. I had to start over because I'm originally from Oklahoma. Right. So I would say, I get like goodie bags, give it to them. Do the best you can. Build a relationship, because what we don't realize is that when we're with our clients, we're in a relationship at that moment. We're building a connection.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, and be sure to check out all our videos, our Pravana 180s. We have a lot of education for you, building confidence through education.
Yes. Hair besties.
Bye.
Mwah.